Hello there everybody, what's going on? It's JB here with the Clarets match delayed. Delayed commentary of Burnley versus Everton played earlier today, the early kick-off from Turf Moor. And as you will gather, the game somehow stayed on. Well, hook by crook, because it has been really chilly up in the north of England, as with the rest of the country, and the ground staff at Turf Moor did really well. There was snow around the perimeter track around the pitch, but the conditions were good enough for a game to get on despite the sub-zero temperatures, and what a game we were treated to. You're going to hear the full 90-minute commentary done about something like 3 or 5 done around that time. And I'm telling you something, it was some game, I can tell you now. So let's get over to the turf for the start, just prior to the start, where the teams came out to a rapturous report here at Turf Moor. Enjoy the full 90 minutes all over again, full delayed commentary of Burnley against Everton. And welcome along to Turf Moor, where Burnley look to end a 11 match run without defeat, without a win, I should say, against an Everton side who haven't won for quite a long time away from home and have lost their last 4. Let's give you the two teams before kick-off then. Burnley, of course, managed by the charismatic Sean Dyche, in charge of his 250th game. Lines up like this: Nick Pope in goal for the Clarets, and it's a back four of Matt Lawton, Ben Mee, Stephen Ward, and back after a bit of a layoff, James Tarkowski replacing Kevin Long. In the midfield, you've got Johan Berg Gudmundsson on the right, Jack Cork in the middle with Ashley Westwood, Aaron Lennon on the other flank, Jeff Henrik playing that false number 9 or number 10 role, and Ashley Barnes scored against Southampton last week, playing up front. On the bench, Lindegaard, Bardsley, Long, Marnie, and Kundu, Vokes, and Chris Wood. And Tom Heaton not far from a return himself. Sam Allardyce, of course, manager of Everton, and this is the side he's picked. In goal is Jordan Pickford. Good, promising young goalkeeper, came from Sunderland for 25 million. Then Seamus Coleman back after a long-term injury. Bit more about that in a minute. Ashley Williams, Michael Keane, former Burnley defender, of course. A terrific. Be terrific to see how he goes on. And Martina is the left back for the Evertonians today, but Michael Keane will be getting in the bed, I'm sure, for 1 or 2 former Burnley players. Then you've got Phil Walcott, Idrissa Gueye, Tom Davis, the good, promising young player, and Gylfi Sigurdsson signed for a good 35 million from Swansea. And then it's Czech Tuzan, who's the main man up front, with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, one of the great promising young players in the side up front, alongside Joe on the substitutes bench, Baines, Holgate, Schneiderlin, Balassi, Rudy, and Nias. There's the snow on the outside of the field. Excuse me. Just illustrates what a cold day. The temperatures, certainly in this part of England, has been certainly sub-zero. It's even been in the minuses in the last few days, which just shows you how the ground staff really at Turf Moor have done a real manful job really to get this game on, to get even this game playable. We're just waiting for the teams to reconverge, but there are the two lineups. The referee in charge is Chris Kavanagh, and boy, after the net refereeing of Bobby Madley last week in the Southampton game at Turf Moor, let's hope he does a better job than his refereeing colleague. I also have to say, Burnley played really well in that game and should have won that match, really, by those controversial decisions, but they've got a chance to put things right here today. Let's have a look at 1 or 2 of the protagonists here today, including for Everton, their new signing in January, Cenk Tosun. Not scored yet in 4 previous appearances for Everton, but he has scored plenty of goals for Besiktas, where he came from, for a mammoth 26 million pounds. Excuse me. So he's got a lot to prove to himself. But for Burnley, a big plus for them. James Tarkowski out after 5 games with a groin injury, back in the team, replacing Kevin Long, who really didn't put a foot wrong since coming into the team. I do apologise. I have a bit of a cold at the moment, but we're all set to go then at Turf Moor. I do apologise. Away we go then. Burnley in the claret and blue, attacking the cricket field stand away to my right, and Everton, of course, all in blue. A long ball forward up towards Aaron Lennon. It's actually playing on the right, Goodmanson on the left. I think the television graphic told me a little bit of a big fat lie there, where the teams were going to line up. First free kick of the game was a foul there on Martina. Free kick to Everton. Try and persevere here. I woke up this morning about 3 or 4 hours ago with a bit of a nasty cough, so I'm a little bit under the weather, but we are bringing this game to you delayed. Williams knocking that long and high for Everton, but header won by Ben Mee. Now Ashley Barnes just dropping into a little deeper role in this opening exchange, and Goodmanson getting the ball down that side, but offside it was against Jeff Henrik, whose form really has dipped along with Burnley's form in the last dozen or so games. Probably coincided with Robbie Brady's unfortunate injury at Leicester back in November. Still has a lot to prove. He got the winner, incidentally, when these two teams last met at Goodison Park on October the 1st. A 25 pass build-up, which ultimately led to a beautiful team goal from Burnley, although they have been largely criticised for the direct style, but there was nothing direct about that goal that won them the match at Goodison Park. And they're actually looking for their first league double over the Evertonians since they won the league back in 1960. So quite a lot to do here, really. We've got quite a lot to aim for here. Another potential record for Sean Dyche to try and aim for here today. John Moss, the fourth official. Sean Dyche, as I say, taking charge of his 250th Burnley game. Under the previous managers, only Stan Ternent in recent times has managed to reach that figure. He was in charge of the club for about 6 seasons until 2004, and had a really good record with Burnley as well, as Tom Davies comes clattering right into the back of Ashley Westwood here as Everton broke. There's a ball there that was to be won, and in fact Lawton was the man he tangled with. Walcott there making those dashes down the right hand side, and Tom Davies was illegally obstructed him, but not in an aggressive sort of a way. Well, Nick Pope will need to have some really good games now, because Tom Heaton is back in full training, although not fit enough to take a place in the 18 at the moment. But the Burnley captain's back in full training now, and Pope knows he has to keep raising his game, not just to keep Heaton out the team, but to enhance his own chances of maybe making the England squad for the up and coming friendlies, of course, in the build up to the World Cup in Russia. And Gareth Southgate's in the crowd today, I believe, to take a check on not just Pope, but the other man at the other end, goalkeeper, the Everton goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford, who in the last 2 years, despite the relegation with Sunderland and having a tough first season and a bit with Everton, has considered himself to be a top quality keeper, as Tarkowski gets that ball away and then it comes out to Nick Pope. Pope kicks long up the field. It's a good kick by Pope, looking towards Henrik. Now a chance here for Lennon on towards Barnes. Barnes now to Goodmanson. Goodmanson shapes to shoot, gets a little deflection off Keane, which made it a little bit awkward there for goalkeeper Jordan Pickford. In fact, it was Seamus Coleman it took a deflection off, and I'm going to come to Seamus Coleman, how good it is for him to be back playing football again when we get a break in play, because I think it's a great story for him to be back in the team, as the ball's bad out towards Walcott, but Walcott can't make it. This is Seamus Coleman, the Irish international. Back to Martina. Martina knocks that, Ashley Williams knocks that long. Now Cork has it in the middle of the field. Has got Ashley Barnes up there as well. Henrik is supported as well on that far side. Now Goodmanson has it left hand side here for Burnley. Good start this from the Clarets, and a ball whipped in towards the near post. Barnes was in a foot of making it, but Pickford was good position by the Everton keeper, but Gudmundsson whipping those balls in. He's really been a unsung hero really for the Clarets this season, the Icelandic international. He's really done terrifically well. Excuse me, Johan Berg Gudmundsson. As that ball comes to Nick Pope, just a word on Seamus Coleman, how well he's actually had to battle back in the last 12 months after that horrific injury he suffered for the Republic against Wales in that World Cup qualifier in Dublin a year ago, and I commentated on the match on the YouTube channel and live, and it was one of the most sickening sights I've ever seen in watching or actually commentating on football. So sickening that the TV company never showed replays of it, and thank goodness we didn't, because but the way he's bounced back from that injury has been superb. Meanwhile, back here with the game, it's a good cross from Lawton in towards the 6-yard box, and in actual fact Michael Keane got back. I think give him a shame as Coleman in fact got back there and did terrifically well. Now a chance for Everton to break. I think this is going to be a good game. This is Trezeguet. Now Martina getting it forward down the left hand side. A little deflection on the cross. Might favour Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin turns. Good start here from both sides. I think this is going to be a real tough but brilliant encounter here. And here's Calvert-Lewin now, midway towards the penalty area. And here's Gylfi Sigurdsson. Bit of space to work into. Sigurdsson's cross is a dangerous one. Walcott coming in at the back post. Here's Seamus Coleman on the right hand side. Coleman now has got Tom Davies in support. Davies now on the right hand side. Everton starting to, after a little bit of a shaky start, starting to press themselves on the game a bit with 6 minutes gone. Keane now plays it out and then plays a poor ball, which asked a lot of Martina to keep in on that near side. But let's just have a look at that opportunity again for Burnley. It was Matt Lawton whipping that ball in here, and he whipped it in with some ferocity into that 6-yard box. And Seamus Coleman, of all people, in fact the man we were talking about just a minute or two ago, and how well he recovered from his broken leg and got back to full fitness within a 12-month period. He did really well to get back, and he hasn't lost any of that sharpness or any of his pace. Long kick by Pope up towards the penalty area. Williams with a header down. Gudmundsson with a shot that hit Coleman. It's a break by Seamus Coleman, putting his body on the line, and not too many of the Everton side this season have done that to any great effect. Cork now in possession, finds Ben Mee on halfway. It's a good old action start to the game. I think we're going to see goals in this. I watched Jamie Redknapp before the start on television saying that there could be a few goals in this game, and at the moment he could well be right, as Lennon is taken out on the right hand side by Martina, deep inside Everton territory, just over halfway inside Everton territory in fact. And Burnley now, the crowd right up for this one as Lawton takes possession of the free kick. 8 minutes gone here at Turf Moor. Clarets match delayed here on the Jamie Claret YouTube channel in association with my own Facebook page. In fact, John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. All your favourite fragrances made in the same factory as the originals. £20 per 50ml bottle. As that free kick from Gudmundsson is floated in, there was a lot of tall players into the penalty area, but the finish, the free kick was a poor one, and it was cleared by Everton. But Burnley pumped the ball back in again. A little flick on there by Coleman, which actually fell into the path of Henrik's path again, the Irishman, colleague of Seamus Coleman's in fact. Yeah, just back to the Essence page for anybody who's listening in and might have a girlfriend. We've got makeup sets as well. All details will be on my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/John's Fragrances, Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. As we get back to the game with Lennon whipping that ball in. Gudmundsson trying the shot with his left foot and hits it well wide of the target. We're into the 10th minute, and Burnley having the better of things here. Lennon looking lively on the right, so too is Matt Lawton. I think Burnley's right, a lot more balanced since Lawton's come back into the team for Phil Bardsley. And it's been noticeable how the performances are picked up with Lawton certainly in the side, and Lennon really making one or two things happen on one-on-one situations. I don't think there's a better winger in the league than Aaron Lennon, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Burnley fan, but I've watched Lennon a lot of his career, since he was a young lad at Leeds United. And I remember him coming to Turf Moor when Leeds were back in the Championship, and he was a young man trying to make it in the Leeds side, and he was impressing, and it was a good Leeds side in those days that come down from the Premier League. He came up at Turf Moor one February afternoon and tormented the likes of Mo Kamara on that right hand side. It was just a joy to watch. Leeds did win 1-0, but he played, I thought he was the player of the match that day. He really did. And as a Clarets, I don't normally get too impressed by opposition players watching as a fan, but if I was a neutral, I think he was the best player, and his career blossomed. He's getting in the England side, he's won trophies with Tottenham amongst other teams. He's come to Everton, he had a couple of years there, and then he fell out of favour with the previous boss Koeman. But I think for the money that Burnley paid, I think that's a very astute signing from Sean Dyche. We could have done with a few more, especially up front, but all that's probably now forgotten now that Chris Wood is back in the team, and well, he's on the substitutes bench. If there was one criticism aimed at Sean Dyche, we'll just break off for a second because Gunsmanson has it on that near side from the throw. It's a good ball in there towards Barnes. Lennon was lurking as well at the back post. Westwood trying to make hay, but he ran into Tom Davis. Now then, we've got a situation here that Everton could exploit on the counter-attack, but it didn't come off. And Ward gets that forward now up towards Ashley Barnes. Scored last week against Southampton. I think Burnley have missed Chris Wood in effect because he is the top scorer for the Clarets. 4 goals he was until Ashley Barnes joined him on the scoring charts in the league last week. So he's joint top scorer. Some folks has been very much out of favour in recent weeks. Dyche lacks the physical presence with Barnes. But I think Burnley have started really well in this 12 minutes, and I think they've been the better team by none. Everton really haven't offered much as Tarkowski just about gets it back to goalkeeper Nick Pope. I say just about, he just had enough purchase on it, and Pope in that fluorescent goalkeeping jersey gets it forward, but off flick on by Sigurdsson into the path of Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin losing out, but then Tom Davis wins it. Now Calvert-Lewin has it, but the referee has spotted an infringement by Tuzan, the Turkish international, and a free kick to Burnley. Sam Allardyce taking charge now of his 503rd league game in this division, Premier League. Sammy Lee, a Liverpool legend, but now assisted him in the blue half of Merseyside. Not to go down too well with the populace at Anfield when Sammy Lee was taking charge, or helping Sam Allardyce out as part of his coaching staff at Everton. I know they are friendly rivals across the Mersey. They're still fierce ones as well, as Pickford kicks long now for Everton over the halfway line. Fewest away points actually. Everton have 8 and they're the 3rd worst. Only Stoke and West Brom have got a worse record, and they're both teams in the bottom 3. And Swansea, Palace and Brighton have taken more points away from home than Everton. That's interesting. 3 teams in the bottom 7 or 8 in that division have taken more away points than Everton. Not good enough for a big club of their stature. Meanwhile, Sigurdsson inside the penalty area. Gylfi Sigurdsson, pull back across. Walcott from 7 yards out, dead central of the goal. Blazes over. Tom Davis was also lurking in the centre, and Everton here picking a way through. Lewin started it there. Calvert-Lewin got in the ball from the byline. The ball was cut back brilliantly by Sigurdsson, showing why Everton paid all that money for him, and he's starting to pay a bit back with some of these performances. He has been doing well despite Everton's struggles in recent times, but that was a poor finish by Theo Walcott. And a goal kick it is. We'll flick on, which Ashley Williams will make, and that's out for a throw-in. Well, his first season at Everton last year was a successful one for Ashley Williams. He did really well. guiding the team to a Europa League berth, which they've really struggled in this season. Lawton has it down the right hand side, but Martina gets it away for Everton. Former Southampton man, brought to the club by his former boss Koeman. Now Tom Davies, a real youngster to watch out for in Everton blue, tries to play the ball forward, hits Matt Lawton, and ricochets really counting for Nick Pope with 15 minutes of the first half gone here at Turf Moor. The Clarets match delayed, of course, in association with John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. Still 0-0. And they're the sponsors for the rest of the season here for all live commentaries on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Meanwhile, here at Turf Moor in the Clarets match delayed, it's 0-0. With a good first half here developing, it just needs a goal here to lighten the blue touch paper. Now, this is an interesting statistic. Burnley, when conceding first under Sean Dyche, have played 53, have not won anything. They've drawn 11, but more alarmingly than that, they've lost a whopping 42 matches when conceding the first goal, under Sean Dyche, and that's a bit of a worry here if they concede first. They can't afford to concede thus, you will feel today here, the Clarets. And as a staunch Claret, I dearly hope that rock and roll would be ended. Here's Lennon, though. Good crossing for the right, and they all went for it. Barnes was there. Cork with a shot over the top. Burnley making the chances. But Aaron Lennon working his magic on the right-hand side, whipping a wicked ball into the penalty area. Barnes was in a whisker of getting there. I think it was rather Henrik. Yes, it was towards Barnes. It was behind Henrik. Then Tom Davies made an absolute dog's dinner of clearing the ball, or Walcott did, came to Cork and just didn't get under, just got underneath it. And to be fair to Tom Davies, actually, he came out, put his body on the line, and made it so difficult for Cork to get that on target to test Jordan Pickford. Aaron Lennon, in fact, made 77 appearances for Everton in a 3-year spell. Scored something like 9 goals between 2005 to 2000 and to this year, in fact. Still 0-0. Ball forward, and it's deflected, and it will be a Burnley throw about halfway inside the Burnley Everton half on the left hand side, the far side, as we look from the commentary position here, high up in the what used to be known as the long side, now better known as the James Hargreaves stand for sponsorship reasons, as Henrik takes protection. Lovely back heel there with Lawson, and they've just swapped wings for a second. Lovely ball in there by Gunmansson across the 6-yard box. Comes to Lawson, who tries to cross it in, and Ashley Barnes from that beautiful cross by Johan Berg Gunmansson was just within a whisker of getting his toe on the end of that and possibly making it 1-0. In fact, let's give Jordan Pickford a bit of credit. He got a vital finger on this. Otherwise, that it was inevitable that Barnes would tap that low cross in. It is a corner though to Burnley. They have got a corner here, and they've had a few of those so far in the opening 18 minutes. Gunmansson with the corner, just on the ball was just hanging on the quadrant as that ball is whipped out again to Gunmansson. Gunmansson and Lennon, I think, have swapped flanks as that ball comes into the penalty area. In fact, Lennon has stayed on that side. Gunmansson takes the corners from both sides, incidentally. As Gylfi Sigurdsson, his Iceland colleague, leads the counter-attack. Finds Martina. And that's a foul by Ashley Westwood in the centre of the park on Calvert-Lewin. Inside Burnley's half, just midway inside it, in fact. And a free kick to Everton, and what could be a very dangerous position here. Michael Keane, ex-Clarets, of course, distinguished himself well, was really a relative unknown when he came for just £2.5 million to the club 3 years ago for Manchester United. That free kick is whipped in. Burnley can counter-attack here with Henrik. Henrik just can't find Leonard. Now there could be problems here for the Clarets here as Everton look to attack down that near side. Walcott now has it. Walcott lifts the ball in. Coleman with a little flick, and the header is in. Everton have scored, and it's Çek Tuzan, the Turkish international, who scored his first goal for the club with 20 minutes almost gone. What a cruel blow for the Clarets, who have been the better team, have made all the running, but at the end of the day they didn't clear the set plays properly, I'm afraid to say, Walcott with a wicket ball in, and the crucial touch there, flick on it in the near post was from Seamus Cohen, and Turan getting on the end of it to nod past Nick Pope. And Burnley are behind here with 20 minutes almost gone here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Everton 1. There's the header. It's a wicked little header forward there by Coleman. And that is the crucial one. Otherwise, Cork gets that away. And Turan with the easiest of finishes. And look what he means to him. The man that scored bucket loads for Besiktas in the Turkish League has scored his first goal in English football. Check Tuzan. His first goal in 5 appearances. That will give him plenty of heart. And the Evertonians as well with it. 1-0 to Everton. 20 minutes gone. And Everton in fact have a throw. Goal actually timed at 19 minutes 19 seconds. All the 1 and the 9s. But bad news for the Clarets. 1-0 down. Clarets match life. Burnley 0, Everton 1 here. In association with John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. Here's the kick away by Jordan Pickford, who's had plenty of work to do in the opening 21 minutes that we've played here at Turf Moor. But his team are a goal ahead. Well, it's sub-zero temperatures because the weather. 4 attempts to 2 in Burnley's favour. On target, this will be interesting. 1 on target for Everton, and that was the goal just a few seconds ago from Turan, which makes it 1-0 to the men from Merseyside, the men from Goodison Park. And here they go again on the break. It's Phil Walcott leading the charge through the centre. Turan is to his left of him, and Turan gets his shot in, and that's a good save. Tuzan, sorry, gets his shot in, and that's a really good save that by Nick Pope, because it looked to all intents and purposes he got it onto the left hand side and hit it with his left foot. Pope just had to drop down to his left and just go with that ball in no problem. And Westwood now leading the charge for Burnley, who now trail. Remember, a win for Everton in fact could put them level on points with Burnley, although Burnley would still have a more superior goal difference than the Everton team, which is quite an amazing thing when you think about it. When all said and done, but Burnley have kept far more clean sheets this season. Pope stays on 10 clean sheets this season. He won't make number 11 today. Halfway for the first half. Burnley 0, Everton 1. And that's a real frustration for Burnley because they were the better team up until that point. Tarkowski now back in the team. They don't use many games with Tarky. They nickname, that's his nickname in the team. They call him Tarky or Tarks. He's been a real colossus. I think he's had a better season than what Michael Keane had last year, and I think Keane has had it tough really. I mean, he's had to live up to a big price tag, £25 million. It was big money for Burnley. They couldn't afford to turn down. Keane wanted to move on to bigger and better things. That's understandable. Here's Lawton and Martino in a leg race, and the ball just ushered back to Jordan Pickford. And the Everton goalkeeper handling superbly so far. But this will be a real test. In 53 previous games they have failed to win after conceding the first goal barely. Now this is a real uphill test, but really in a game that's really ebbed and flowed. I can see Burnley making a lot more chances as the game develops, because that Everton defence does look very suspect and very leaky. They were poor against Watford, even though they lost by the odd goal. There's only one goal in it. Everton should have lost by more really, with all due respect last week to Watford. And really the carrot really dangling for these teams. Everton, one of the teams chasing Burnley in the table when at 7th spot, the best of the rest. So one of the top 6 win the FA Cup this year, and there's a good chance of it being either Manchester United, Chelsea or Tottenham. If one of those 3 teams were to win the FA Cup, then there'd be an extra European spot up for grabs. That would be 7th place. And Burnley at the moment, as things stand, with 25 minutes gone, even though they're 1 down, they are still in pole position in terms of league position. But if they don't win today, and Leicester were to win against Bournemouth later today, then it would be they were in pole position and not Burnley. So it's important that Burnley really come out of this and fight and try and get back into the game and get something out of it, because a potential Europa spot really would be such a fairy tale for a team like the Clarets, and well, it would have us dreaming of Europe again. But more important than that, if they were to come back and win today, as Calvert-Lewin leads the counter-attack, but Stephen Ward covering tremendously well, and I think Calvert-Lewin brought down his man anyway, and he's going to get booked. Was a heck of a late challenge there, and it was a yellow card. I don't understand Seamus Coleman's protest really for 1 minute, because Calvert-Lewin was very lazy in that tackle. Ward had definitely got there. He was about a second or two late with the tackle, and Stephen Ward was quite clearly taken out, and the referee cabinet had no other option but to book Calvert-Lewin for it. It's his 4th yellow card of the season. So he has to watch his step, the young starlet who's widely tipped to be an England senior international of the future, as that free kick comes in by Pope midway inside his own half. It breaks to Leonard here on this right hand side. Well, 1-0 down, Burnley still very much in this game, and with Lennon making room and trying to get balls into the penalty area, they'll create quite a number of opportunities. It's just a question now, does Sean Dyche tactically got it wrong against Southampton? Let's make no mistake about it. He should have used substitutions when he was 1 up and tried to see the game out with fresh legs. He didn't. He kept faith with the 11. It backfired on him, despite the controversy of the referee and stuff. And it really backfired on him tactically, as that's a good little cross there from the right hand side by Leonard. Boy there to be won. Shot was hit inside the area. It was a whole mighty pinball scramble there, and as Calvert-Lewin breaks away, or rather Walcott breaks away I should say, Everton with a quick break, and there's a chance inside the area. Walcott tries to dig it past the goalkeeper and makes a marvellous save, and really just to the left of the goal here, left of the 6-yard box. Walcott, who really made the break initially, it's a nice ball with the outside of the foot to find him, and in the end Nick Pope was too big an obstacle for Walcott to in the end get past, as he tried to steer it in from the left hand side of the 6-yard area. 1-0 still to Everton. We've had 28 minutes. One ball in towards the penalty area looking for Ashley Barnes, in a break for Goodmanson. Both wingers for Burnley really putting Everton players on their backside, so to speak. Westwood now 30 yards from goal, hits it against one of the defenders. I think it was Idrissa Gueye he hit, and it's kept in well by Ben Mead. It was on the line, not over the line. The ball has to be over the line for it to be deemed as a throw-in. The ball was kept in. Approaching the half-hour mark now. We're about a minute and a half away from that particular milestone in the game. As Lawton comes forward, just can't thread it past Martina. Otherwise he would have found Lennon with that ball. Try to steer it past Martina on that right-hand side. Burnley get a throw now, level with the penalty area of Everton. And Lawton to take it. Lennon is the option available to him. Gets it back from Lennon. Decent cross. Header won by Barnes inside the area. Virtually unmarked. And Jordan Pickford diving away to his right. Stretch Armstrong style that. Made an incredible save to deny Ashley Barnes an equaliser. It's behind for a corner. But Burnley there in an instant, showing that prowess again on the right, and how well balanced they have been. Really a good understanding between Lennon and Lawton there, as that corner comes in from Goodmanson from the other side. This time Williams with the header out, and it will be another corner. But Jordan Pickford really distinguishing himself, but good play from the Clarets down the right-hand flank. I'm sure we'll get a replay of the save in just a minute. Burnley having the corner. It's Goodmanson short to Ward. Ward back to Goodmanson, who stayed on side. Down the left-hand side. Ward now whips the ball into the penalty area. Not at half away by Everton. It'll be coming back at them now with Westwood, who's now bundled out to the right-hand side. Finds Lawton into Westwood. Paul Aston Villa teammates trying to combine, and in the end Everton get away with it and they get a throw with half an hour gone. But the save in the match so far is from Everton's Jordan Pickford. Wonderful cross there from Wilson, and Barnes thinks he scored there, but let's see that save again. That's from the touchline camera, and that is a marvellous save, and that's a glorious save. And if, well, in front of Gareth Southgate, he hasn't done his England chances much harm, has he? It's a great save. Southgate will have taken a few notes there. David Baldwin to his right hand side, the operations director or the CEO at Burnley. I'm sure with Mike Garlick's in the crowd. He does work away in London, the chairman of Burnley, on his businesses. But I'm sure he'll be watching from afar if he's not here today. Everton have a throw deep inside Burnley territory, halfway inside. Here's Tom Davies back to Martina again. Martina chipping that forward, looking towards Sigurdsson, who almost stole in there. Gylfi Sigurdsson has got some very good memories of playing against Burnley in the past. Famously scored a winner in an FA Cup title to Majeski in his Reading days against the Clarets, who were just taken over by Brian Laws. It was the first time they'd been in the top flight for 33 years, and it was a match that really knocked them out the FA Cup that year as well. And then the Premier League campaign really turned sour after that. Sigurdsson has really been a scourge of Burnley for a long time since. Everton have a corner on the far side, conceded by Ward as he blocked an attempted cross by Phil Walcott. That's actually Everton's first corner. Burnley have had 3 up until now. Allows Williams, Coleman, Keane to come forward from the back. And really opportunity knocks here. Sigurdsson with the corner then from the far side. Williams jumping, headed directed back to Gay, who shoots from about 30 yards out. Right footed and finds almost the top tier of the Jimmy McElroy stand. Named after the key player in Burnley's 1960 title winning squad. It's hard to believe now it's nearly 60 years since they won the title, Burnley. A great achievement in all aspects, really, considering they were a small town club, they were a small band of brothers put together. A lot of local lads in that team, a lot of Northern Irish lads like the likes of Jimmy McElroy, of course. And here's the class of 2018 trying to level it up through Barnes inside the area, and Michael Keane with a good block inside the area to deny his former Burnley teammate. It was a dangerous little ball over the top, and Michael Keane, who's not really been with it this season, played as part of a back 4 at Burnley for many years, now having to adapt as part of a back 3 at the moment, which is the vogue now amongst the bigger clubs in the division. As Antonio Conte has started the whole thing off. And that's a good ball from the far side, and that's going to find Walcott. Walcott bursts in the air, he gets his shot in, and the ball bounced favourably for Nick Pope, rather, as Walcott hit the shot. He hit it into the ground with his left foot there, but it bounced very kindly for Nick Pope, who made a good save at the other end. Barnes with a shot and straight into the arms and the near post, the left-hand post of Pickford's goal by Pickford. Plucked it out from the air. Barnes must have hit that very well. It's Burnley who got the ball forward, and Barnes getting away from King. A bit of joy there for him, but hitting his shot, left-footed shot straight at Pickford, who protected his near post very well, just to the left of goal. Still 1-0 to Everton rather, as we come up towards the final 10.5 minutes of the first half. At the moment, Everton less than comfortable despite leading in the game. It's been me forward now for the Clarets. Remember, winless in 11 games going into this game this afternoon. And then the ball back to Nick Pope. It's going to be it's been a difficult afternoon for Burnley in terms of the scoreline, but they've managed to get 9 attempts at goal to Everton 6, and interestingly now they've managed 2 on target, but Everton in turn have managed 4 on target. Although Burnley are having probably more of the play, Everton hitting the target more often than not. That's a little bit of a worry then if you're a Clarets fan. Well, I am myself. But Burnley still making things happen, and with 11 on the ball, they've got a lot of joy on that right hand side, and him and Lelton have really teamed up well. Gummerson's whipped a few nice balls in as well, but he's been dispossessed, and then a foul there on Tom Davis by Ashley Westwood gives the Burnley man a yellow card and a free kick to Everton. Gummerson really stupid to lose it. Coleman got there very well, did really well, the Irishman, and then Tom Davis. I didn't think it was a yellow card tackle, perhaps. I don't think you could say that was a booking. I think Chris Cameron was a little bit trigger happy there with the yellow card. It's only his second yellow card incidentally of the season, so there's nothing to get too hepped up about really. But Burnley just in a little bit of bother, but they're still playing positively despite being a goal down, I should say, and that's a good sign. But maybe they're talking tactics. Sean Knight, Ian Warren and Tony Lochran down there. Ian Warren the assistant, Tony Lochran the first team coach. 3 musketeers that have steered Burnley from a mid-table championship side to almost European glory, if you like, a European spot. Because if they were to stay 7th at the end of the season, and one of Manchester United, Chelsea or Tottenham were to win the cup, then Burnley would be rewarded with 7th place and a UEFA Europa League spot. Think about it, we have the not the creme de la creme of Europe, that's all in the Champions League, but we have 1 or 2 of the footballing gods of Europe from years past here at Turf Moor. And wow, what a nice situation to find yourself there. But then they've got to adapt to playing Thursday, Sunday again. If that was to be the case, there are pros and cons to being in Europe, and then they'd have to strengthen the team quite significantly in the summer to accommodate the extra competition. Should they make it, as the ball is threaded through towards Jeff Henrik, but he can't make inroads, and the ball is with the goalkeeper inside the penalty area, Jordan Pickford. He bowls it out to Williams. Williams gets it lobbed. 38 minutes gone. Burnley 0, Everton 0. Clarets match delayed in association with John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. Here's Ben Mead to get it forward. Now Westwood finding Lawton just to the right of the centre circle, and now Tolkowski. James Tolkowski gets the ball forward. It's a good accurate ball to find Ward, and he was fouled there. I'm sure he was fouled there. Krista Cabinet saying it was a free kick. There was a high foot. Now, was it a dangerous high foot? That's the question that Burnley are asking here. It was Walcott. He's not renowned for being a vicious player. He's a fair-minded player. Does care about his fellow pros. He's not a vicious fouler of the ball. I would assume he's not going to get a booking, and yet lesser challenges have got bookings for. Was the foul on Goodmanson there by Shabers Coleman. But it's a free kick opportunity now for Burnley as they attempt to get back into the game. A goal down, probably undeserved on the balance of play, and the way the game has certainly gone in terms of the way that it's gone, but you can't fold Everton's commitment as well. As that free kick comes in, Lennon comes in, and Ben Mee was right in amongst that 6-yard box and just couldn't prompt the ball goalwards. And Jordan Pickford had the presence of mind in the end to jump on that loose ball literally 2 yards from his own goal line. Oh dear, Lennon, if he had made better contact, I think that would have quite easily been the equalising goal. Sean Dyche knows that was a great chance to get level just before 40 minutes. We're now 5 minutes away from the interval plus stoppage time, but it's a great opportunity there for Burnley to get level, and it would have been deserved on the balance of play. They are a bit unfortunate, in fairness, to be 1 down when you look at the game objectively, as Lennon puts the ball from the snowdrift on the near side running track. But I have to say, despite all the poor conditions that have taken place weather-wise, the pitch does look in remarkably decent nick. It's hard synthetic half grass, but there's hardly any mud patches there, and the pitch, I have to say, the ground staff have done a manful job, because there may have been 1 or 2 people questioning should the game have gone ahead because of the weather condition. I don't think the pitch was the big question. It would have been the safety aspect, because I walked around Burnley a lot this week, and it has been quite icy in places. Certainly the surrounding area has been really bad. But there's a full house here, braving the conditions, the cold conditions. There's 1 or 2 empty seats knocking around the stadium at the moment, but there's at least 20,000 inside the turf here today. We're enjoying a fine game of end-to-end football, but Burnley are the worst side of the scoreline as Tom Davis shoots from about 25 yards to the right of centre, and he hits it, the left of centre rather, and hits it over the bar. Open play crosses, 14 Burnley, only 3 to Everton, but it's led to a goal in the 20th minute as Sean Dyche bunks out more instructions here to the Clarets. It just shows, though, from Burnley's point of view, they're having a lot of joy, and Lennon certainly is, as he tries to find Barnes, and that might go for a throw-in. It does, and Burnley get that decision. With Lawton and Lennon on that right-hand side, I think there may be a case there at this stage, maybe for Sean Dyche to say, right, 1 up top is working to a certain extent, but maybe we need to just break off for a second. The foot for a moment, Lennon was going to get in there, Henrik was in there too, but just couldn't finish it off in the end. It was a decent long throw by Lawton, causing higgledy-piggledy in that Everton defence, but in the end Jordan Pickford on hand to make sure that no further danger was placed on the Everton goal in that one particular occasion. Pope just miscued it slightly, his goal kick, or his clearance away I should say. Then a long ball forward up towards Barnes flicking it on, and still it remains 1-0 as we go into the closing stages of the first half. 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go. But I've got a feeling if Sean Dyche could get 2 up top against the 3-man Everton defence, who, let's be fair, I've looked a bit shaky a lot of the time in this first half, and I've lived a bit of a charmed life. And if you can get balls into the box, the likes of Chris Wood or Sam Vokes, whichever one may come on in the second half, I think alongside Ashley Barnes, I think Burnley have got a really good chance of equalising and maybe going on to win this game, because they look far more, even though Everton have been good on the break in this first half and have played actually quite well, Burnley have played just as well, and with Lennon and Goodmanson, they've 2 genuine crosses of the ball that can cause any defence on its day a lot of problems. So it's not all over yet for the Clarets, and those statistics would argue against that they're going to get anything here today. I mean, 53 previous attempts when they've under Dyche, when they've conceded the first goal, they've always lost. So it would be conceivable to think that Everton will come away with the 3 points, but records and statistics are there to be broken and made a mockery of. So maybe in the second half there may be some surprises in store, but we will wait and see, because we're now deep in the last minute of normal time. In fact, we're now inside the last 35 seconds or so as Burnley look to launch probably one of the last attacks maybe of the half. Burnley still have it, but now Seamus Coleman can bring it away for Everton. 20 seconds from the 45 minutes now as we come towards the end of this first half. Burnley have dominated proceedings, have given a few opportunities, but at the moment no breakthrough at the moment. As Calvert-Lewin tries to head it forward, and then Wilton just hooks it back to the goalkeeper. We're now into stoppage time, and we'll find out two extra minutes. So there's 2 extra minutes at the end of the first half as that ball comes forward towards Barnes, who flicks it back. Sigurdsson in the way, but Cork, his former Swansea colleague, in there to nick the ball. Now finds James Tarkowski out to the right hand side where Matt Lowton is lurking. Lowton in towards Cork, back to Tarkowski again. Play 30 seconds of the 2 minutes, and away by Pope, the Burnley goalkeeper. Long ball towards Barnes. Henrik is in the middle as well if he can be found. Barnes trying to put the ball through, but Seamus Coleman too astute of a player to be fooled by that sort of ball. And here come Burnley again, looking to get level just before half time, but at the moment no answer as Dominic Calvert-Lewin brings it away here for Everton. We've played 1 minute of the 2 here at Turf Moor. The Clarets National Lane in association with John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. All your favourite perfumes and aftershaves, £20 per 50 millilitre bottles, all your favourite fragrances. Not tested on animals. And chemical 3. So deep into stoppage time here at Turf Moor, and a half that was been mainly dominated by the home team, but ultimately will end in relative disappointment at the end of the first half, as they're probably going now with 30 seconds at a minimum of 2. I should stress here, a minimum of 2. 1 goal down. Here's Lowton with the throw. Will there be the last chance? 20 seconds of stoppage time at the end of the first half. Lowton with the throw in, headed away by Martina, and Guy can bring it away for Everton. A bit of a risky ball to play there to Walcott, but he found him no problem. Back to Martina. Now Tom Davis looking for Calvert-Lewin on the near side. The referee checks his watch and blows for half time. So a goal for Everton. Turin with the goal after 20 minutes. Some good work down the right hand side for Walcott. A little flick on from Seamus Coleman, and a superb header by the Turk, the former Sixers player who gave Everton the lead, and then Pickford in the half a mile mark, saving superbly to deny Ashley Barnes. But the half-time situation here at Turf Moor, it's Burnley 0, Everton 1, and we're going to take a 5-minute break and then be back full delayed coverage of the second half from Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Everton 1 is the half-time score. Well, welcome back to Turf Moor for the second half, and we've got a bit of half-time news for you. On comes Chris Wood, who's preparing to go for the second half. And Burnley are going to look as if they're going to go two up front here, by the looks of it. They've done very well in the first half, even without penetrating the Everton backline, and probably find themselves a little bit unlucky to be losing at half-time here. As we begin the second half, John Moss, the fourth official, decked out in the right attire for this. It's big coat, hat and scarf weather. Chris Wood has replaced Jeff Henrik, so it looks as if it's going to be a straight 4-4-2, a formation that serves Sean Dyche very well over the years. No changes from Everton as we begin the second half, and Phil Walcott will get us underway. Turf Moor looking in very good condition as you would expect, and away we go then. Burnley now attacking the Jimmy McElroy stand to my left, Everton to the Cricket Field stand, or the Ladbroke stand to give it its proper title, to the right. But a long way to go yet in this second half, and we hope that you stay with us, because I think this is going to be a real rip-roaring second half here at Turf Moor. In the bitterly cold, the Clarets match delayed in association with John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. All your favourite fragrances, £20 per 50ml bottle, all made in the same factory as the originals, but with two big differences: not tested on animals, and of course no chemicals in them, and fully legitimate, I should say, as well. Meanwhile, back here at the Turf in our featured game, Burnley trail Everton by a goal to nil, but Burnley have had a lot of joy on both flanks. There's no doubt about that. In the opening 45 minutes, they've just been unlucky. Scored, conceded a goal really to Truzan, who's looked really good as well, and that's a foul by Tarkowski, or is it? No, it's not. Referee allowing it to play on. So I suppose it was a good decision there by Mr. Cabinet, the referee, in that sort of respect. Tarkowski, or rather Wilton, to get that forward up towards big Chris Wood, who's putting a lot of pressure on Ashley Williams, and it's a corner, and Burnley might just fancy this now a bit more, because now with two up top they can really do damage on that back three of Everton. And Ashley Williams at 34-35 is now getting on a little bit in age, and Ward is probably quicker over a vast amount of ground. And obviously what as that corner comes in towards the 6-yard box, and it was almighty scramble. Burnley almost cost an equaliser. There was an appeal for possible hands there by Everton players. They wanted a free kick. Referee Cabinet was right on the spot. Wisely didn't give the decision. I didn't see any handballs there in that penalty area, and I was watching the fight of the ball bob around. Just to remind you of the team, so it's Pope in goal for Burnley, same back four: Lawson, Tarkowski, me and Ward, and then you've got Lennon, Cork, Westwood and Gunmanson. And just that one alteration, Chris Wood, Umpo, Jeff Henrik and Barnes up front. So they've gone to a 4-4-2 as Gunmanson goes forward for Burnley, whips in a decent crossing towards the 6-yard area. Might break here for Lennon, who shoots in a good save from the goalkeeper there. That was a terrific save at his near post, the right hand post there by Jordan Pickford. Lennon looked as if he was going to get that equaliser. It was on target. Was it actually on target? No, it might have been drifting wide, but Jordan Pickford couldn't take that chance, and safety first palmed it away for a corner. It was a good save, but from the angle we saw it, from the reverse angle I saw it from then on the monitor here, it looked as if it was going wide, but it is a Burnley corner. Hey, towards me, when I had another save there, and then over the top on the rebound. Wood was in there, and yet again Jordan Pickford has distinguished himself superbly. 3-header there for Ben Mee. Wood with another header. He was literally about a yard from the goal, and it would have been so difficult really from even that sort of distance to steer it on target. But it was a good save. That looked as if it was drifting in from Ben Mee, and Wood obviously just got underneath his header on the rebound about 3 yards from goal. Pickford's kick, it's a decent one in the end. It did look a bad kick from the first glance. Looked as if from first glance he sliced it, but I tell you what, if Burnley play like that now for the rest of the second half, I think they're going to score. There's a little inkling there that the back of my mind that if Burnley keep playing positively like they have done, and I mean that's a positive change from Dyche, so let's be fair, maybe that was just what Jeff Henwick needed, obviously coming off at half time. Let's be fair, his form hasn't been the best in recent weeks as Gareth Southgate looks on. He'll be impressed with the way Jordan Pickford has distinguished himself here in his second half thus far, with 4.5 minutes gone. He's already been pulled into action on a couple of occasions. 2 good saves so far. First to deny Lennon and then Ben Mee from a corner. Wilton takes a quick long throw, tries to flick it on there, Westwood. Barnes just towards the edge of the penalty area. And I'll tell you what, Burnley will have Everton pinned back. Everton with a slender advantage. But the more it stays 1-0, the more nervous Everton are going to get. Remember, they've lost their last 4 away games prior to today. They don't want a 5th one, I'll tell you that now, because if they do, I think Sam Allardyce will be, will be getting a lot of criticism. There has been a lot of criticism since he took over. He initially steadied the ship, because Everton was struggling right towards the bottom end, and he's got them way up the table. 9th place at the start of the play this morning. Once they get a free kick, Everton, but Sean Dyche is having a word or two there. 5.5 minutes gone in the second half, by the way. But there's a lot of pressure on Allardyce. The money that's been spent, but then you can also point the blame at a couple of managers before that, Martinez and then obviously Koeman. Did they do enough really in the market to justify this as well? It's not just Allardyce's problem, it's obviously been Koeman's as well. He's obviously had to buy players, and then obviously Seamus Coleman being out doesn't help things defensively, because he is a very committed player, Seamus Coleman, and I think he's one of the best players Everton have got. Very highly rated, very sought after man, and possibly if he has a good end to the season, Coleman, one or two of the bigger fishes will be swimming around Goodison Park looking to buy him, because I think the Irishman is a very sought after player, and I think he's a very good player, even though he's quite an experienced guy. I remember him being on loan at Blackpool a couple of times, earlier on in his career, and he looked a player then. Meanwhile, Lennon has it for Burnley, who trail by a 0-0, but they created 2 glorious opportunities and found Jordan Pickford in tremendous form on each occasion. 2 marvellous pieces of goalkeeping that have kept Everton's slender lead just about intact. There's only so much Jordan Pickford can do. The back 4 really need to help him, I feel, a lot more, because, or the back 3 rather, need to help him a lot more, because if they don't, then Everton are going to end up in big trouble. But Burnley making chances, really giving themselves an opportunity here, despite being a goal down here in this game. They are really giving it a good go. They've nothing to lose, and maybe Sean Dyche has done the right thing. Placing 2 up top could be the important factor. The back 4's good, the midfield 4's been terrific so far. Westwood has come in for Stephen Defoe and has done a manful job, really, when you think about it. Hasn't had too much in the way of game time so far as Everton tried to build down the left, but it's a throw, and Martino will take just 10 yards over the halfway line inside the Burnley half, over with the edge of the centre circle, and that's out for another throw. So 8 minutes into the second half, still we get to see Wayne Rooney on his prodigal son's return this season. He was hoping Everton would be going places when Koeman snapped him up from Manchester United. That's a foul there on Tuzan, the goal scorer for Everton, and a 3 kick to the men from Goodison Park. So we come up towards 9 minutes of the second half now played. Burnley 0, Everton 1. Well, he's forward from the back. So too is Coleman. So too is Keane. I was just going to have to see what really does come about here, this free kick. Filtered in there by Gilfie Sigurdsson into the mix, and there was a chance inside the area for Ashley Williams. He felt he was being pulled. The referee Kavanagh doesn't agree, or didn't want to know. There might have been a case there for offside as that free kick was floated in from the left hand side by Sigurdsson. It was a good delivery by the Icelandic man, teammate of Johan Berg Gudmundsson, of course, who's on the ball now on the left hand side. Back to Stephen Ward. Ward in field to Westwood. Westwood now touching it back to Ben Mee. At the moment, Burnley still really, they're the more dangerous customers, really. Everton will try and counter-attack on the break as long as it stays 1-0. I think Big Sam Allardyce is gambling that he's the back three, even despite the fact that they're shaky, will hold firm, but I've got a feeling it could not be the case. So we've had 10 minutes gone in the second half here. Everton with a slender advantage, given a number by Tuzan in the 20th minute. Here's Pickford. Fewest home league goals. Burnley at the moment at time out of 10 goals, one behind Swansea, one behind Birmingham, and that's in the top 4 division. Newcastle have only managed 12. Amazingly, but there have been small margins in these games. On ball forward, and a chance here for Barnes. Barnes in the area, shoots, and he scored. Burnley are back in it. It's 1-1, and Toughmore explodes into explosions of joy. Burnley are back on terms, and they deserve it on the balance of play. And it was one ball forward. I think it was Lowton who got the ball forward. Ashley Williams was very slow to react. Michael Keane, in fact, was slow to react. Should Pickford have come off the line sooner? But really, who cares? Burnley are level, and they've deserved it. A terrific right-footed shot there by Ashley Barnes, who's looked a real live wire throughout. Should have scored in the first half, arguably, when Pickford denied him. But he wasn't to be denied this time. Burnley level. And the game is very much on with 56 minutes gone. That's his 5th goal of the season, and it's his first goal in 5 attempts against Everton. But more important than that, the scoreline now reads Burnley 1, Everton 1. But it's behind for an Everton corner. A little bit sloppy there from Tolkowski. So poked down the river a little bit, and it will be a corner. 55 minutes, 28 seconds the goal was timed at. And Michael Keane will have to take some of the blame. I did see Drissa Gay actually go and berate goalkeeper Jordan Pickford because he didn't narrow the angle quickly enough. But here comes the Everton corner. They're looking to take back straight away towards Keane and Williams. Here's a chance for Walcott. Hits it against the defender, and it will be a throw. We've got a game on now at Turf Moor. And some game too. Coleman to take the throw. Level with the edge of the Burnley area to Walcott. Back to Coleman. Coleman in one of his first games back after that horrendous double fracture against the Welsh, while playing for the Republic in that World Cup qualifier we covered here on this YouTube channel last year. Second half possession, 60-40 in Burnley's favour. Here's Barnes on the break down the left hand side, lays it in there towards Wood, who digs it out from his feet, finds Lennon inside the area. Lennon plays it in, Wood trying to flick it back behind Barnes, still might come for Burnley. Gudmundsson now has it. Gudmundsson on the left hand side finds Westwood. Westwood now still on the left hand side. Now has to go back to Cork. Cork back to Westwood, and then Westwood gets it back to Ben Mee. And the attack just sort of loses impotence, although Burnley patiently, though, in fairness, keeping possession. And Mee hits it long, Gudmundsson can't keep it in, and now the whole attack has broken down for absolutely sure. But again, Burnley looking a real threat when they get into that final third. And Everton's reaction to that equalising goal from Ashley Barnes is to bring on Wayne Rooney, the man who scored more England goals than anybody else statistically, although some may argue it was against very inferior opposition in World Cup or European qualifiers. But the record book states he's beaten Bobby Charlton, and Tom Davies surprisingly has come off. That's a bit of an amazing substitution, but Tom Davies, his race is over. And Rooney now has a 33-minute cameo plus stoppage time to try and give Everton 3 points. And this barren away run, they haven't won too many away games in the last sort of 2 or 3 years. It's a very rare commodity in away win for Everton at the moment, and for a club as big as Everton, with their tradition and history, it's just simply not good enough. And here's Lennon again, tormenting that Everton left-hand side, going in between players as if they didn't exist. Here's Westwood now, 40 man around the shot, coming to with a goal, cross into the second area, and it was Barnes nearly getting on the end of that cross. It got a little nick on the way through, and Burnley have found themselves again with another corner. But Lennon again, breaking down that right. He cut in field. I thought Westwood might have had the shot there. Fed Goodmanson, and a little touch there from Seamus Coleman. Taking it behind for a corner. Just comes off his knee. Otherwise, I think Ashley Barnes was in there for a goal. Here comes the corner. In there from Goodmanson. It's a deep one this time. And it's headed behind for another corner. Martina with a header over. 60 minutes gone exactly. An hour played. Sean Nash consulting something to her fourth official, John Moss, on the far side. Goodmanson to take the corner. Burnley now going for the kill. Me and Tarkowski well forward from this corner. Wasn't the best from Goodmanson, but he'll get a second chance to reload. Martinez, the covering defender. Still a good bit of play here from Burnley. Keeping possession. They're not panicking at the moment. Here's Lawton. Lawton loses out, mind you, and here's a chance for Everton to break, and the ball's just been kept in on the far side, but Lawton had the presence of mind to run back lightning fast and get the ball back to Nick Pope, whose goal kick, whose clearance is sensational, and it looked a no foul there on Goodmanson, but the referee let Nick White ride here, referee Kavanagh. But I tell you what, he's letting the game breathe, and we don't see too many referees actually trying to let a game go or flow in a good way. And I have to say, for entertainment, it's been, if you're a neutral watching this, and I'm a Burnley fan, but if you're a neutral football fan watching this, a casual football fan, you'll have been amazed by the quality of the attack from both sides, especially Burnley. It's been absolutely amazing, and it doesn't look a team that haven't won in 11 games. It really doesn't. It looks a really different outfit with a different attitude to the game. And remember, this win, if they were to get it, Burnley, remember, when conceding first to the Sean Dyche, played 53, one note, drawn 11, but lost a whooping 42. Will that one section be turned from 0 to 1 if they were to get another goal? They've got just over half an hour to do it, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility. Records are there to be broken and smashed to smithereens forever, and that's what Burnley really have to do now. They don't think about statistics in these parts. They think about just playing the game as it's supposed to be played, playing it fairly and squarely, and trying to get results. And that's what Sean Dyche cares about. It doesn't matter where it comes from or what the score is. But he's broken so many good club records over the years, Sean Dyche. And that's a testament to how well he's done as Burnley manager. He's probably been the most successful Burnley manager in terms of longevity since Stan Ternent. And Stan was so close in 2 seasons when they got into the Championship originally. Finished 7th place twice and denied by the playoffs, and goals scored when Gazza was a player here at Turf Moor some 16 years ago. Came within a Marcus Hedman save from making the playoffs at Norwich's expense, and they should have been in the playoffs that year. They were leading, I think they're leading the league at Christmas time, and then they got a game called off on Boxing Day at Rotherham with a frozen pitch, and then they went to Manchester City some 2 days later and got beat 5-1, and then it all went badly wrong from there on in. Their form, they just couldn't recover their form in the nick of time, and in the end they finished just outside the playoffs, which I thought was dreadfully unlucky. Not to say that they weren't going to win, that they were going to win the playoffs if they had got there, because there was a 1 in 4 chance that they weren't. Here's Rooney for Everton. 1-1 in this game, and Burnley here in the ascendancy, but Everton attacking now, and with Rooney on the pitch, anything could still happen for Everton, because even at his age he could still chase games in a blinking of an eye as that cross comes in, and Tuzan, who's already got 1 goal to his credit, almost got another one. Well, this was the equaliser. Barnes with the ball in, it's Tarkowski. I think it's Lawton playing that ball through. Key sort of right, and then the goalkeeper, you have to say, was really poor on his positioning. To be beaten from 6 yards out and practically on the goal line, he will be absolutely furious with himself, and that won't have impressed Gareth Southgate, despite the impressive saves that the keeper Pickford has made up until that point. Anyway, here's Rooney now for Everton. 1-1 is the score here with 64.5 minutes almost gone. Rooney picks it up for Everton. He's got Gay to the right if he chooses to use him. Instead, he doesn't utilise him. He plays it out to Martino instead. Now Keane trying to get it forward. Can't pick out Rooney. The ball out of play on the far side. And a throw in to Burnley midway inside their own half. The Clarets right back in this game. They deserve to be level, if not winning. And they played some really good stuff today. And as a Burnley fan, this is what I wanted to see in the games. They should have been trying more in the Swansea game in particular, and they just didn't turn up at all. And Newcastle, really, when they were spelled by a lucky break for Sam Vokes when he came off the goalkeeper's back, they should have lost that game. They should have won at Huddersfield, but for a debatable refereeing decision. And Crystal Palace were just, as you heard on a previous Clarets match, where Burnley were just spineless and pathetic and deserved to lose, were lucky to lose by more than one goal. So they look a completely new outfit. Maybe with Tarks and Woodback they have made a difference. In Lawton as well, they look a balanced side on that right hand side. And now Lawton leading the charge. He's got Lennon as well. Chance here for Barnes. Sander, lovely save this time. The goalkeeper redeeming himself there, but Burnley still have it. Cummins inside the box. Cummins' shot charged down. And away by Everton, by Theo Walcott. But Ashley Barnes there with an opportunity, but they're still Burnley coming back at him. Here's Ward now for the Clarets. Long ball towards Barnes, flicking it on. Here's Chris Ward inside the area, deflected away for another corner to Burnley. But Jordan Pickford redeeming himself there. If he was at fault on the equaliser, he certainly wasn't there. He was almost a carbon copy of the equaliser. Lawton playing the ball down the right in towards Barnes from exactly the same angle. The difference was Pickford was much more quicker off the line and covered the angle very well. And then just a moment or two later, there was a chance there for Ward. It just wouldn't bounce up for him properly. But Burnley are not finished yet. They're coming back at Everton now because they have a corner. We're inside the final 25 minutes plus stoppage time. What a second half this has been. Gudmundsson curling it in there towards Tarkowski. And Everton haven't got it away, but there has been a little bit of jostling, presumably from Chris Wood inside the penalty area, which referee Chris Cavan has spotted. And a free kick to Everton. Well, take your choice actually between Wood and Tarkowski. It was a free kick. But Everton do not look comfortable from set plays, and Burnley's corner routines have been of the highest quality. 1-1. Everton about to make a second substitution. Looks like Nias is going to come on, the former Hull City player. And he's going to replace the goal scorer, in actual fact. The man who scored after 20 minutes, Cenk Tuzan. And Omar Nias, who played in the Hull City side last season on loan from Everton, where they got relegated. And we were relegated 7-1, I think, by Spurs on the final day of the season. And now comes on. We've got 22 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Burnley 1, Everton 1 here at Turf Moor. But what a fair it's been. What an enjoyable game to commentate on. It may be cold outside in the words of the song, but my word, the football has been summery. It's been bright, breezy. Well, not breezy, but very white hot, and a white hot atmosphere, which sort of mixes in with the sub-zero temperatures, and you've got a lethal cocktail here. Must be at least 0 degrees out there. But really, the football being played has been 100 degrees Celsius and 200 degrees Fahrenheit. It's certainly warmed the spirits of of us watching the game up here, certainly if you're a Burnley fan, because you should be pleased with the way the team's attitude has been today. Burnley are playing with real attitude. Ben Mee to win the next header, but the referee has spotted an infringement again. A free kick. Sam Allardyce is under a lot of pressure now, his side. They were leading for a 20th minute goal from Turian. I mean, that's how you pronounce his name. I've never covered him before today, so apologies again if I keep mispronouncing his name. But he has been substituted now by Nias. Barnes with the equaliser 10 minutes into the second half. And we have a situation with 20 minutes just over to go here on the Clarets match delayed in association with John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence of 1-1 here at Turf Moor. "20 minutes exactly to play. A long ball forward towards Barnes, but Williams is there to win the header. Then Gay flicks it on. Sigurdsson gets it forward now for Everton. Looking for Nias to get in his first touch, and he has done. Finds Wayne Rooney in the centre circle. Just over halfway now he trots. The former England captain. Finds Seamus Coleman. Coleman now looking to Walcott for an option. Another former England international. Theo Walcott, man who showed so much promise in his early days at Southampton as a 16-year-old teenager. Went to Arsenal, it just didn't come off for him that day. And here's Barnes on the chase. Wood is trying to scamper into this penalty area, and that's a decent cross by Barnes, but there was, as I say, there was only Wood in the area, and it would have took an eye of the needle cross to get it onto Chris Wood's head. And in the end, the momentum of the attack has certainly gone out of that one. But as I say, it would have needed a miracle from Barnes to get the ball in at that sort of magnitude. But at 1-1, it's all there for the taking. And Burnley right back in this. And right back in this with a bang. It's got to be said. 1-1. Anyone's game here at Turf Moor. Clarets match delayed. Burnley 1, Everton 1 here. The lunchtime kick-off at Turf Moor. Burnley 7th, Everton 9th at the start of play this morning. Here's Williams now for Everton. The former Swansea City captain. Picks out Michael Keane, who so far his move has not been a successful one yet in terms of a good season, if you're judging it on that. Here's Ashley Williams again. Midway inside his own half, hits a 60-yard ball looking towards the penalty area, but it's out of play for a throw to Burnley. By contrast, James Tarkowski has had a marvellous season. He's had a good game today, him and Ben Mee, usual reliable selves. Ben Mee is the unsung hero in a lot of people's eyes. I think he does a lot of the dirty stuff, although Tarkowski has taken all the plaudits. I think Ben Mee deserves a lot more of the accolades as well as Tarkowski. I think they should have equal share of the praise rather than one individual. Ben Mee was a left back when he first started here at Turf Moor. Truly out of his depth, and I was one of the few players saying at the time he's a waste of space, and then Sean Dyche one day made him a centre back, and my goodness, he's blossomed superbly into a really great centre half. Here's Gudmundsson chipping that ball towards the penalty area. Header won by Wood and straight into the arms of Jordan Pickford with no problems whatsoever. But once again, Gudmundsson's cross, Chris Wood being picked out superbly. And that's the value of having Chris Wood in the Burnley side. A lot of people, I have to say, I was a little bit dubious when he signed for us for 16 million quid, but he certainly proved a lot of doubters wrong. Mike Clarets, my LTF co-host, Chris Whiteman, certainly proved him wrong. He made a video about it, and I defended him, and he's quite in some of the ways. He's another sort of powerful centre forward, but he's a goal getter, and when he's in the team and he's fit, as he's proved on many occasions, he is a goal getter. And no doubt he's been an absolute threat to Sam Allardyce's team. Incidentally, if you're an LTF fan, The latest edition of LTF came out late last night, where we talk about J-Rod and one or two other issues, Arsenal's form, amongst other issues we were discussing a week and a half ago. Chris has just edited all into 2 hours, and you can enjoy it at your leisure as that cross comes in by Walcott on the right hand side. Walcott again with a good cross, and it was flicked on, and Pope having trouble there. It'll break here for Everton. Nias is there on the far side, comes out to Martina with a cross in towards the penalty area, and a shot over the top from Nias into the crowd, and a goal kick to Burnley. But it could have easily been a second Everton goal. Walcott whipping that in. Had a second goal here, Walcott. Whipped it in. I think Pope might have got the touch there. Then, under pressure, made a little bit of a ricket of the punch. Then the ball came to Umar Nias. In the end, after that nod down, and he volleyed it way over the crossbar and into the cricket field stand to the right-hand side. 75 minutes gone here at Turf Moor. Burnley 1, Everton 1. And here come Everton again. Another corner this time from the men from Merseyside, conceded by Westwood. What a finish this is going to be. It's going to be a grandstand finish now. 15 minutes to go. Burnley 2 have had 8 corners. This is Everton's third. Or will be their third. 1-1 is the score. Gylfi Sigurdsson, the Arsenal international, to take it. Whipped in there. Goalkeeper thought about coming, and he was in 2 minds, but 2 defenders in his way got there first as that ball is whipped back in again. But well taken this time, more comfortably and more better positioned there by Pope, and he took the ball more confidently and competently this time. Here's Gudmundsson down the left hand side. Decent cross in there, away by Williams. It will be a throw level with the edge of the Everton penalty area. Burnley are sensing blood here. They're sensing a kill. Here's Ward in towards Westwood. Westwood with a crossing for the left. Not a good one. Williams heads out. Still it remains 1-1. Good second half here. Really enjoyable. Even if you're a Burnley fan, despite the 1-1 score, and you've got to be proud of the way the team, we've got to be proud of those Clarets, the way the team have responded. We don't look a team that have not won in 11. That's a good cross though from Walcott in towards the penalty area and out for a throw, but Walcott looks an absolute handful down that right hand side, just as much as Lennon has been on Burnley's right hand side, and that to me is a little bit of a worry. Burnley have used 1 of their 3 substitutes. Everton have used 2 of their 3. Leighton Baines I've just seen amongst the substitutes bench. They get many games now, even in his evergreen days, as that cross comes in. Comes out to Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson does well, gets his shot in. And he gave the defender, he sold the defender a real dummy there. Got his shot in, and just narrowly missed it. Missed the far post by inches. Turned there, got his shot in with his right foot, and just missed the right hand post by a couple of inches. In fact, not much to spare. Ben Mee was on the goal line just in case it was on target. Gylfi Sigurdsson so close there to restoring the lead for Everton, and again it would have been a little bit against the run of the play, a little bit undeserved perhaps, but having said that, that was a big opportunity for the men from Merseyside. With 13 minutes to go, and here come Burnley now with Lennon. Lennon running at pace, Lennon with the cross, and then that goal behind it did, says the referee, and the linesman. It's a Burnley corner. It's their 9th corner of the game, and all of a sudden, when Everton could have scored at one end, Burnley are threatening to score at the other. Lennon again having more success on that right hand side. He's really making a difference to Burnley's play here. At 30 years old, he's still a paciest swinger in town. Good corner into the penalty area. Comes out to Lennon. Engineering, Lennon strikes it. Hits a defender. Corner. Burnley now turning up the pressure. 11.5 minutes to go at Turf Moor. And Johan Berg Gudmundsson, who takes the corners from both sides. Barnes is in there, Ward is in there, Tolkowski is in there too, Ben Mee is there. They're all in there. Woody's actually at the far post. There's one man standing right on goalkeeper Pickford's toes. And if Goodmanson sends a wicked ball in there, there could be changing for that Everton defence. Goodmanson whips it in towards the back post. What's header? He scored! Everton up 2-1 down, and the Clarets have done it. Well, the Everton defence. Quite frankly, who cares? Who cares at 1 iota around these parts? Burnley have come from behind to deservedly lead by 2-1. Bad marking there, you have to say, by the Everton defence. It was a free header, but give Chris Wood full marks. The goalkeeper wasn't going to get there. And a great header by Chris Wood. And into the net, and full marks to Stephen Ward for legally blocking the goalkeeper. He was within every right to do that. And Chris Wood, 5th goal of the season. He's been out for a month or two with injury, but my goodness, what a goal! It's in fact his 6th goal in the total if you include the one he got in the League Cup against Leeds. But what an important goal! Burnley 2, Everton 1. And deservedly so. 10 minutes to play and we're in for a right grandstand finish now. Oh, wow. Is it 54th match lucky for Burnley? 53 previous occasions they conceded the first goal. They've neither gone on to draw 11 or lose 42. Is it going to be the first time in the Premier League under Sean Dyche they've going to go down and won? And this would cement 7th place for absolutely sure and the best of the rest. And maybe if they have a good run and Arsenal keep messing up, they could still catch Arsenal and finish 6th. But that's wishful thinking at this stage of the season still. There's still some tough games for the Clarets to play, but still, this is a real feather in their cap. They haven't won in 11 games prior to this. They've just scored what could be a winning goal. And Gylfi Sigurdsson's miss proves doubly as costly now. And again, you've got to ask questions of Williams and possibly Keane on that second goal. Really was the easiest 3 headers, and he didn't. And the thing from the Everton point of view is, Wood didn't even have to stand up. He didn't have to jump at all. He basically just got on his tiptoes and headed it in because he's a tall man. He's about 6'4", 6'5", and Burnley have had 21 shots in the total against Everton, 20 against West Brom and West Ham, which they lost and drawn. Swansea, they had 17 and they won that game 2-0. So it just shows if you do have that attitude. And here's Lennon now, Burnley looking to really wrap it up in some style. They'll concede a 3 kick, fouled by Ashley Barnes. That's the way he goes in the game. He's got a very physical presence, Ashley Barnes. My goodness. Burnley Everton about to use their final sub here. A 2-1 down, and off comes Sigurdsson, and I don't think that's going to go down too well. Yannick Bolassi's going to come on. He did score here in the corresponding fixture last year when he equalised, and he looked as if it was going to give Everton a point, but then Scott Arfield got the winning goal. And, well, the Everton fans aren't appreciative of that at all. You can understand why they're very angry at the moment. They pay all that money to travel, but I'm a staunch Claret. I don't care. Burnley are winning 2-1. We're about to end our own barren run. Here's Chris Wood on the break. I apologise to any Evertonians listening, but I'm afraid I'm a Burnley fan. I am bound to be a little biased towards my team. But Everton have played just as well, but you cannot excuse the marking. He's practically on his tiptoes as he nods that down into the net. And that is a typical Wood goal. Calvert-Lewin could have done better on the line if you're picking at nicks. But let's not care about that. Let's care about the fact that Burnley have come from a goal down in a Premier League game under Sean Dyche and are winning and possibly could win, but they've got another 6.5 minutes for stoppage time just to hang on. There's still a little bit of time to go. But at the moment, it's going to be bingo for Burnley. 40 points. That was the target at the start of the season. They're going to do it with 9 games to spare. And what a milestone to reach. It took them until Crystal Palace practically last season to do it. As that cross comes in, Pope has dropped it, but I think he was being fouled by Calvert-Lewin. So a free kick, 6 minutes left. Burnley 2-1 up here in the Clarets match delayed in association with John's Beautiful Fragrances by Essence. And Burnley, on the balance of play, have richly deserved this, because they're out in attack. The two wingers, Goodmanson on the left, Lennon on the right, have been outstanding. The back four have been superb. Nothing like the Everton back three, who, let's be fair, have been nothing but a disgrace. And we're very lucky not to concede more than the two they conceded so far. If it wasn't their goalkeeper, it may well have been more. Coming up towards the last 5 minutes for stoppage time. Rooney now. They have to turn to him if they're going to get back into this game. But Burnley at the moment is very stout defensively, and then Balassi is took to the ground by Lawton. A little bit of a foul to give away because it's in a very good position for Everton. Williams is being ushered forward, so too is Michael Keane. This really has to be a real throw of the dice now. They might as well throw everybody at it, Everton. Try and test this Burnley back line, who have so far been brilliant. Seamus Coleman is at the back post as well. No goal for Sigurdsson to take the set place. The Everton fans obviously voiced their disapproval. Rooney to take the free kick from the far side. Rooney lifts the ball in towards the penalty area. There's a Burnley player gone down. Williams is involved. Oh, it's a red card! A red card for Ashley Williams. There must have been an elbow there. I think Ashley Barnes was the man that was tagged. And in fact, to be fair to Williams, he's handed the captain's armband and is walking off without any complaints. Now that's very rare you see a modern pro in the game accept his punishment like that. Getting the bird deservedly from the Burnley fans. It was a clear elbow by the looks of things. We'll need a replay to sort it out, but I think Chris Kavanagh has called it absolutely spot on. He's had a superb game, the referee. Watch that. Oh, he's caught him. That's an awful thing. And if you're, well, that is not a captain's example. He's absolutely elbowed Barnes. Could have done a lot of facial damage to the Burnley striker. Out of order. Referee Kavanagh saw it and had no hesitation in sending him off for violent conduct. The correct decision from the referee, has had, I have to say, up until this point, has had a superb game. The best referee we've seen at Turf Moor, arguably this season. Has not been picky in any way, shape or form. Has given decent decisions. Has not been too trigger happy to book players for the least bit of a thing. He's let the game flow, and when he's seen an incident like that, he's been onto it like a flash and has made the correct decision. What a spot there by Mr. Kavanagh, the referee. He's had a great match and a big feather in his cap. And who says I don't criticise referees? Who says I criticise referees all the time? I've just praised one. Here's a chance now for one on the break. Remember, it's 10 against 11 now. Burnley with the numerical advantage and a goal advantage. 2.5 minutes to go. Long ball forward up towards the penalty area by Rooney. Headed away by Burnley. Corking there, but it's going to go for an Everton corner. The 10 men are still battling on. We're in for a grandstand finish now. The Everton fans are trebled in all weathers to this game. Cold, seething and angry at the moment. Their team aren't performing for them, but let's not care about that for a second. Can Burnley hang on? That's more important at the moment if you're a staunch Claret listening to this. Here comes the corner into the penalty area. Good catch there by Nick Pope. Ambles back, makes sure the ball's in his grasp, falls on the ground and eats up about 5 to 6 precious seconds, which at the moment Burnley are getting 3 points, and Pope, he hasn't had to distinguish himself too much. He hasn't made the sort of show-stopping saves that Pickford has, but his handling has been really faultless. His kicking has been faultless. And he's done the basics right. Pickford certainly at fault with the first goal. No chance with a header from Chris Wood. But surely now Burnley can hold on for 3 points. They claimed a handball, wasn't given by referee Kavanagh. Ball tossed in towards the area, and again Nick Pope. Super goalkeeping. No pressure, perhaps, but he did the basics again. Exactly right. He's had a decent game. And if Tom Heaton thinks he's going to get in the side on just the captaincy alone, I think he might have another thing coming here, because Pope has done himself again justice today. No clean sheet, perhaps, but there's little he could have done about the Everton goal after 20 minutes. It looked as if it was going to give them an opportunity of a victory, but Burnley have looked threatening throughout, and were always likely really to get the equaliser. And Ashley Barnes duly delivered 10 minutes into the second half. And then Chris Ward on his return from injury with a superb header after 80 minutes. We're into the last of the normal minutes now. Then it'll be down to John Moss, the fourth official, to decide what time will be added on at the end. Here is Rooney. Rooney massively knocks it into the area for the right-hand side. Headed knocked away. And I wonder if Gylfi Sigurdsson's sitting on that bench now. If only that effort of mine had gone in a minute or two before. Otherwise, we might have been looking at an Everton win. And Burnley have got a free kick. A foul on Barnes, who, let's be fair, the last sort of 4 or 5 minutes has been in the wars. Foul just there, and before that was utterly clattered by Ashley Williams with his elbow. And it was inexcusable. And to be fair to Sam Allardyce, he didn't complain about the decision. 3 minutes now, in which you're into the first of them. But I've got to tell you, folks, what a performance it has been for Burnley to come back from the dead, to come back from a goal down and to possibly win the game has been a momentous thing when you think about it, because they have really played with great vigour, they played with great authority, and now they're on the verge of 3 crucial points. So remember, at the end of this game here on the Clarets Match Delay, we will hear from Sean Dyche. We've had one of the 3 minutes so far, the ball played back, and still Everton going for the cutthroat here as they look to get level with Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin towards the edge of the area, does well now to fend off a couple of Burnley players, but the ball hits him. I think it hits Westwood, and now it breaks to Barnes. Barnes now trying to take it past Martina, but Barnes' tired legs doesn't serve him well, but though he does keep running, to his credit there, Barnes, making it difficult, defending from the front, and Burnley are doing that to a man at the moment. They've won a free kick. We're halfway through the 3 minutes. We've had 1 minute and 40 at the 3. Referee Cabanero is not spotted too much wrong. Not been too much wrong with his refereeing. It was a late tackle there by Nias on Lowton. Good decision there again from the ref, who hasn't really put a foot wrong today. Has had a good game. 1 minute and 3 to go. Burnley so close to breaking a Premier League hoodoo under Sean Dyche. In 53 previous games, when conceding the first goal, they've gone on to lose 42 of the games, draw 11, and up till today couldn't win one from behind. But today could be the day all changes for Burnley Football Club, because here at Turf Moor they've shown a real fighting spirit, played some stylish football, and are just 30 seconds away from overturning a 1-goal deficit into a 2-1 victory, and it will be their first win under Sean Dyche in the league after going a goal down. Here's Pickford now. As for Everton, it's going to be 5 successive defeats unless they can equalise in the last seconds. But here's Lennon, and now Barnes. Barnes with Wood up ahead of him. If he can pick Wood out, he's picked him out. Now there's a chance here for Lennon. Wood just didn't have too much on the ball. Here comes Pickford, the referee, now checking his watch. And that is that, I think. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. No. I thought if I threw a blind for time, Sean Dyche wants to know how long there's more to play. We're all over the 3 minutes. He's telling the referee to blow up here. It's back with Pickford. We still play on. Pickford now for Everton. Long kick over. This has to be the last chance. Headed away by Westwood. It's all over now. Burnley have won it. They've done it at long last, at the 54th time of asking. They have trailed in a Premier League game under Sean Dyche, and the 54th time of asking, they've won, thanks to second half goals from Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood 10 minutes from time. What a performance from the Clarets. They trailed to a goal from Turan after 20 minutes from the Turkish international, Put Everton 1 up. But then Burnley fought like tigers in the second half. Got back into it 10 minutes into the second half for Ashley Barnes. And then the winning goal. Poor Everton marking. And now the Everton fans, I'm just seeing they're booing their team off. They're not happy. But who cares? Burnley have won it. And they deserve to on the balance of play. They created the more chances. They had the more possession. They had more everything as far as I was concerned. A brilliant dominant performance. They had to come from behind. Because of their dominance, they proved it. And Chris Wood certainly did magnificently. So there's the table. 7th place. They're up to 40 points. 3 points above Leicester. 4 points above Leicester at the time. Leicester still to kick off. But that's the story here at Turf Moor today. They had to do it the hard way, Burnley, but they were superb. They played terrifically well. They had joy on both flanks. And they go off, all 11 players, if you like, to a hero's reception from 3.5 sides at Turf Moor. It's finished here at Turf Moor in a brilliant game of football. Really enjoyable. Burnley 2, Everton 1, the first winning 12 for Burnley. Well, there we go. I'm still getting my breath back some 10 hours later. It's just been one of those... It was just one of those games where you just enjoyed it. And in a few moments' time, we'll hear from the man in the match, which was Matt Lawton. But first of all, we have to hear from a delighted Sean Dyche, who was speaking after the match, in fact, to Clarets players Darren Bentley, and just shows what delight he has in his voice.
To do it. A fantastic way to do it, 250, a turnaround for the first time in the Premier League, of course, from a deficit to take it to a winning performance. And I thought it was a winning performance. And a number of things worked well for us today. I thought the way the lads performed, the lack, in a positive way, the lack of disappointment in going 1 down. It's like everyone stayed calm, including the crowd. I think that's a really important thing. So we're on a tough run. I never denied that. And that gave the players that freedom to go and play. In the second half, I thought we were tremendous. I thought, to turn it around, but to turn it around in that fashion was very, very pleasing and very deserved by them.
It's in the second half, but you weren't bad in the first half either.
No, it was a head scratcher really at half time to go in 1-0 down. But we reminded the players of that, and said, look, there's not a lot wrong. I mean, even I took Jeff up, but I explained to him, that's tactical. It's just to get 2 up there because I thought we could be more effective. They went to more of a counter-attacking style after going 1 up. And I felt that we could take the game on with the 2 up there, and obviously it worked in the end. But no, there was a number of very, very pleasing things today, and as we suggested already, it was definitely a winning performance for me.
It says a lot about the mentality within the camp, from yourself right down, that you go in there at half-time 1-0 down, on a run that you're on, and you turn it around.
Yeah, and I think that's pleasing. That's been part of what we're about, and I think the fans play a part in that. I've learned about the mentality here, and the only thing I've ever said is give everything, and the players do give everything. So even on a tough run, it's a great feeling inside you as a manager when you know the minimum you're going to get is a group who give everything. It's very rare we go below that mark. Now, if you add in that belief in the system, now if you add in their moments of quality, and we saw an absolutely fantastic bit of quality from Matt Lawton today, and a finish, of course, from Barnesy. You add all them things together, and then there's almost that feeling, all right, remind everyone of that. And that brings a bit more, calmness and a bit more freedom. And go, yeah, okay. The people are behind you. They know what you're giving, and we know what we're doing. And then when it comes off like it did the second half, you're really pleased with that as a manager and on behalf of my staff, of course, as well.
I want to touch on that pass because that was, for me, one of the moments of the season.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. He did a fantastic pass at Liverpool. Yeah, but that is top draw. To find that gap between it. But the weight of it, the delivery of it, that's up there for me. One of the best passes I've seen in a long time.
And you brought Wood. And Woody truly delivered, as Woody does.
Well, he's got his name on the score sheet. He's come on and looked sharp. I was pleased with that decision because I didn't want to wait. It was one of them, sometimes you wait, sometimes you think, no, it needs affecting. So I was pleased with that. And his performance at the whole. He's only going to get fitter and sharper, as are a few others. So I was pleased that Tark is another one, but very good.
And 40 points on the board with 9 games to go. We can probably now officially say we're going to be a Premier League club next year. But I know you won't want that. You want more than that.
It's not really about that. It's not really about that because, stats and facts all being considered, you're on 37 with 10 to go. You'd fancy yourself to get the work done that you need to get done, but it's not done. So therefore, not only that, but we wanted to continue looking up the way. That gives us a chance to continue that. So now, the next game comes, can we take that one on? Can we take the remaining part of the season on with just that touch more freedom? Because that psychology of that 4 on the board, 4 being the first number, of course, it does bring that change of psychology just because everyone talks about it every year, and you can see why, because it is a good marker. It's very difficult.
We're going to start talking about Europe again now,
Well, let's just keep winning and then we'll see where it goes.
Yes, but Europe is still a possibility. But possibly, if one of the big 3 teams win the FA Cup, and possibly Burnley finish 7th, we could be in for Europe. So it is possibility. And Sean Dyche, in all fairness, is playing that one down. Anyway, before we leave you, let's have a quick word with the man of the match, Matt Lilton, who was speaking to Clarets player just after the match.
Winning ways.
It is, yeah. It's been a long, tough run since we've won, but in house we kept the confidence. We've worked hard all week. Been a great feeling, and after the game, winning is the ultimate feeling that we've been looking for a while, and we're buzzing to get there.
It's a comeback win that makes it even extra special.
Yeah, I think the gaffer mentioned at half time that we've not done it before, so it gave us even something more to go at, to change that one round, to show people that we can do it. We went out in the second half with a real intent, on the front foot, and we managed to get level and then push on and get the winner.
Yeah, you played a big part in the equaliser. Great ball for Ashley Barnes.
Cheers. Yeah, it starts with talks. His composure, not to just kick it out of play. He takes a touch, finds the pass, gives me some information to turn out, and then as I look up, Barnes is on the shoulder and I can see him pointing where he wants it. So I just tried to miss everyone out. Thankfully he got there and he's finished it.
Their keeper was their best player, I thought.
Yeah, he made some great saves. We said after, if he wasn't there, we could have had 3 or 4. But that's what we keep doing. We keep going, and we find a way to win, and we've thankfully done it today.
Good to get one or two of the guys back today as well. Chris came on second half. Tarky started. Good to get the guys back.
Yeah, it's good to have a full squad to choose from. We've got a lot of competition in every place, so it pushes everyone on to play well. And like you say, Woody coming on and getting his goal today. Tarky slotted straight back in, as he's done all season before his injury. So yeah, it's a great feeling amongst the group right now, and hopefully we can push on and get back-to-back wins.
10th Premier League win of the season, up to 40 points. Those are significant landmarks.
They are, yeah. Obviously everyone says get to that 40 points, but we give ourselves a platform to push on right until the end of the season. And we've said in-house there's no reason why we can't get over 50 and try and break into that top 6. So that's what we'll be looking to do.
First time we've done the double over Everton as well since 1959-60. That tells you something, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. They're a great side. They've been for years now, but it shows how far we've come. As a team, as a squad. To go to their place, get a win, and then, like you say, back it up and get 6 points off a team like Everton is a great achievement for us. It's up to us to push on and keep getting points on the board.
We go to West Ham next Saturday, a big game at the London Stadium. No reason why we can't get anything there.
Not at all. No, we've showed already. Early parts of the season, away from home, we've picked up some great points and some great wins. So we're looking to go down there full of confidence after today and hopefully get another 3.
Excellent. Well done.
Cheers.
Yes, and Matt Lawton there speaking to Phil Bird. As per Everton, they were, parts were pretty good, but at the end of the day, they were just woeful defending. Sam Allardyce blamed the defence on the goal. There was no refereeing decisions, and he also had no axe to grind with the referee on the red card for Ashley Williams. It was a definite elbow. Sam Allardyce did acknowledge that, and he accepted the decision and was fantastic about it. But Everton, 5 successive defeats, but really as a self-confessed Claret myself, I don't really worry about that, because quite honestly, Burnley's first win in 12 games since December the 12th, when we beat Stoke City by a goal to 0. Well, we've done it. We had to do it the hard way, but we did it with a lot of grace, a lot of style, and above all, we were superb. Great goals from Barnes and Wood. Lawton definite man of the match, although a few others might have run them close. But the Clarets match today has been a cracker today. I hope you've enjoyed the full match commentary of it. We are now 3 points above Leicester in the race for 7th place. They drew 1-1 earlier today with Bournemouth. So, yeah, brilliant performance. Great day for the Clarets. First winning 12. We go to West Ham next week, full of confidence, as Phil Bird was saying. So there we go. Burnley have done it. They've done it for the first time in 54 attempts under Sean Dyche. They conceded the first goal, but come back to win. From me, JB, for the Clarets Match Delayed. Take care, and we'll see you for more commentaries very soon. Good night.